Welcome back to Safety Matters. This is Russ Kenzior, and we're going to be talking about matters of safety that matter to you. Joining me as usual is my co-host, Tony.
It's good to be back again, Russ. Another week.
Another week of safety matters.
Drilling down.
One thing that kind of dawned on me coming to the studio today is, have you noticed that the word problem? Like when you say, yeah, we got a problem. You know, we got a problem with this. We got a safety problem.
Hey, I got a problem.
Yeah. Notice that the term problem is no longer used. They now use the word challenge.
Huh.
Did you notice that? Everything's a challenge.
Like half our population is challenged.
Well, we used to talk about problems.
Yeah, I know.
Now we've reframed that as a challenge. And I guess problems are challenging.
Right.
But it seems like we don't want to address problems. We want to soften it. It's not a problem. It's just a challenge.
It's a challenge.
And one of the challenges that came up this week,
Safety Matters in the News,
is one that the Biden administration has again delivered us. This time they are proposing banning natural gas stoves, claiming that they are harmful to people's health. Have you heard this story?
Russ, oh my goodness. If you're not cooking with gas, you're ain't cooking.
You're not cooking.
No.
You do like to cook, don't you?
No, I do. Well, what's going to happen to all the restaurant owners? I mean, hang on a second. We're going to put it on. We're going to put it in an electric stove.
Tony, haven't you heard of microwaves?
Yeah.
Every fine dining restaurant uses microwaves. Yeah, so that was the new proposal is going ahead and banning natural gas because apparently it hurts people. According to the administration, and in fact, this comes from the commissioner of the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, who told Bloomberg News just this past week that the agency, meaning the CPSC, is considering a ban on gas stoves, reportedly out of concern for the environment and people's personal health. Researchers indicate that emissions from gas stoves can be hazardous, and the CPSC is looking for ways to reduce related indoor quality hazards. Holm Sarek said. That's the chairman of the U.S. Consumer Product Safety
Russ,
Commission.
But just like problems are a challenge, why now? We should be talking about solutions. Like you just need a decent vent. Any good kitchen out there, any restaurant, they have hood ovens with makeup air. What are you talking about? The air is sometimes better to breathe in the restaurant than there are anywhere else.
Where does it end?
Where does it end?
Where does it end? I mean, we're going to ban fire.
Yeah.
Ban fire. It's a heat source.
Solutions.
Yeah, so we're going to do a little deep dive into
All
this.
right,
and we're going to look at what the heck's going on. So in the report, Bloomberg News pointed out that a study published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health this past December tied 12% of childhood asthma cases to gas stoves. Not certain how they connected those dots.
I don't know. And how many other reports do they do?
Well, I don't know. The CPSC hasn't publicly cited the study or any other related research.
Of course not.
All right. So children are being harmed. 12% of children are being harmed by gas stoves. Well, how many gas stoves are there in America or in the world? I don't know if this is an international study or just the U.S.
Right.
Because I have to imagine that there's a fairly large percentage of homes that don't have gas stoves. They have electric cooking.
Right.
And so 12% of what? 12% of how many homes that have gas stoves.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Where's the research on that?
What kind of gas stove?
Right.
There's different kinds of gas
Did
stoves.
it have ventilation? Did it have most stoves have ventilation, whether it's under the floor or overhead.
Well, I remember growing up, we had a challenging gas stove. You probably remember this, where the pilot light would go off.
Yes.
Remember, you have so you'd have gas filling the house. Everybody got real sleepy.
Right.
So, do you have old stoves? Are these new stoves? What's the condition of the stove? Or let's say your house is heated with gas.
Right.
How do they know it's not coming from your furnace?
Right.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah.
It may raise the numbers.
Oh my goodness.
And so you say, well, what's really going on? The study also faced some scrutiny since it was funded in part by RMI, a nonprofit research group that advocates.
Oh, for the green.
Yeah, the green movement.
Yeah, sure.
So you have a green movement organization who, according to their own website, claims, quote, their goal is to transform global energy systems across the real economy.
It's like the fox in the hen house, you know?
What does that mean to you? So you have a self-interest group,
right,
that has an agenda. The agenda is to eliminate burning of fossil fuels. And according to their study, in fact, fossil fuels are causing this harm.
Sure.
Would not consider that a fair research paper that I would be rendering or affecting public policy on. I wouldn't be changing the world, at least the world that most people live in. Most people do cook. I believe many people cook with gas. As you would say, you're not cooking unless you have gas. But the two lead authors, Tyler Grunwald and Brady Seals, are RMI researchers who have contributed to the group's, quote, carbon-free buildings initiative.
It sounds a little slated to me, Russ.
Well,
one-sided.
Is that how it works now? That we, as a country, Consumer Product Safety Commission depends on one research paper.
One study from one side.
One study from one side. Inconclusive, not certain what was studied. Where's this going?
The facts weren't even given.
We don't even know what the facts are. We do know one fact, though. It's an interesting fact. In fact, this is a fact that you'll enjoy. Joe Biden, First Lady Joe Biden, puts a tweet out talking about, what are you cooking tonight? And here she is. Note, Joe Biden is cooking. Now, you really can't tell. Is that gas or is that electric?
It looks like gas to me.
Oh,
yes, it is.
Let's go ahead and...
That's a 4-burner.
You see the little trickery here?
Yeah, well, it's okay for them to do it. You know, the elite can do that.
See, so first, I guess it's not unhealthy for the First Lady to be cooking with gas. But did you notice a little sleight of hand with the...
Oh, yeah.
Let's crop that out of the photo.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, let's crop that out of
give you the long shot.
Yeah. There it is. See, there she's cooking. You didn't really see, hey, there's the real photo. So as they're advocating to do away with gas stoves, they themselves, specifically the president and his wife, are cooking with gas. And by the way, I'm okay with that. I'm not criticizing them.
Right. No. I mean, I prefer gas over
What's wrong
electric.
with gas? You know, nothing wrong with gas.
I mean, and you're talking about 99% of the restaurants that you go to right now have gas.
Yeah.
Stoves, tops.
You know, and I always...
Fryers.
Look, we're in Texas. For those of you who don't know that, we're from Texas. We live in Texas. We're Texans. We have a lot of fossil fuels that we export or used to export to the whole world. I always thought gas was clean.
The cleanest.
Wasn't it the clean burning?
Absolutely.
We want to do away with other coal.
Yeah.
Let's do away with coal. It's dirty.
Sure, yes.
Dirty coal.
Yes.
And I'm not certain if that's even true.
Right.
But, you know, natural gas, man, that's the way to go. Clean burning.
Clean.
So what they're really trying to rule out is something that's actually
the best.
Intuitively, the best and abundant. We got a lot of it. Got a lot of it. People like it. It works. It's clean.
We had a strong economy. I mean, everything was based on fuel.
That's right. But did you know that AOC?
Oh, what did AOC say?
AOC jumped in on this. She said, did you know that ongoing exposure
Hey, that gas coming out of there
from natural gas is linked to reduced cognitive performance. Now, I don't know if she's talking about the First Lady.
Maybe. Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if she meant that as a shot at her. But, and of course, AOC is an expert on the subject, apparently.
Oh, she's an expert on, the bartender is an expert on everything.
Cognitive performance. So if you are cooking with gas, well, actually, remember what their gripe is. It's fossil fuels.
Right.
So they kind of lump it all into one big, burning wood, coal, gas. I'm kind of going on the list.
Right.
If you're in the Ukraine, you're burning tires, whatever you're burning.
Right.
Fossil fuels. Everything that's a fossil fuel is, becomes a problem to the left. And so, sorry, Tony, but you're not going to be allowed to cook pasta with that gas stove for long. They're going to cut your gas line off. That's what they want to do. Cut the gas line off. You're on your own. Maybe you need a solar-powered electric stove.
No, Russ, I don't think so.
You're not going to do it?
No, sir.
So what do you think the odds of death as a result of burning natural gas or really any fossil fuel? What do you think it is?
Pretty darn low.
Well, we really don't know. According to the Harvard School of Public Health, worldwide air pollution from burning fossil fuels is responsible, they claim, for about 1 in 5 deaths, 20% of people, roughly the population of New York City. Now, let's kind of dwell on that one point, okay? Worldwide pollution from burning fossil fuels is responsible for killing 20% of the planet.
Who did the study? T.H. Chan.
Where does that come from? And again, notice it's fossil fuels.
Right.
Very broad. They also go on, and this is the Harvard School of Public Health, that exposure to particulate matter, stuff that comes from burning fossil fuels, accounted for 21.5% of total deaths in 2012, but it did fall to 18% in 2018 due to tightening air quality pressures on China. Have you ever seen the air quality, like in Beijing? Remember when they had the Olympics here a few years ago?
Smog.
They for months before the Olympics, they said you can't drive cars in Beijing. The pollution in Beijing is...
You can cut it with a knife.
It's just unfathomable. You couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, I saw photos of it.
And the study is given credit. They're saying, hey, China, you made a difference. And, instead of, 21.5% of deaths and of people dying is contributed or attributed to burning fossil fuels, it's only 18%. Third bullet point, in the United States, 350,000 premature deaths. Premature death. Can you define that? What is a premature? You died before you were supposed to? Was that like Bob Saget? Where do we get this premature death definition? Not certain. But they claim that it's, again, 350,000 deaths are attributed to fossil fuel pollution. Transitioning from fossil fuels to renewable energy has immediate health benefits, including preventing premature deaths attributed to fossil fuel pollution. So, fossil fuels, that's really the target here.
Right.
Natural gas is a part of those fossil fuels.
Right.
Remember what the big fossil fuel that we're being led to believe is just astronomically dangerous. In fact, Greta Thunberg, remember? You're destroying my world.
Right, absolutely.
Gas, remember gasoline. Get rid of those cars. Get rid of those trucks.
Right.
Get rid of the boats that bring all the food to and from the United States and
the
cargo.
Tractors that provide us all the food that we eat on our table.
Do they realize that? And again, it's a noble goal, but the data that they give us, last bullet point, thousands. Remember, Harvard School of Public Health. Thousands of kids under the age of 5 die each year to respiratory infections attributed to fossil fuel production. Now, I don't know what thousands mean, all right? But when you add it up, you see that the laundry list from Harvard University's School of Public Health is...
And the global health. Did you see that? Yeah, everything's out. The global environment.
Yep.
Right there, the global environment.
Global. So it's killers. It's just killing people. Okay? Here's the problem. And this is the last bullet point they make. This is their conclusion. Transitioning from fossil fuels to renewable energy has immediate health benefits, including preventing premature deaths attributed to fossil fuel pollution. So this is the epitome of scaring people to death. That if we just got away from you cooking
with gas,
pasta in your kitchen with gas, you would actually, Tony, be saving the world. Now, where this comes from, where the data comes from, what supports this scare tactic, not certain. But we know that there's an agenda. We definitely know that there's an agenda. But look at the bottom line here. The Harvard School of Public Health conclusion is misleading. And you know why it's misleading?
It's wrong.
It's misleading because they're comparing apples to bananas. All right, what percentage of fossil fuels being burned is natural gas used in stoves in people's homes?
Right.
It's got to be a pretty small percentage of the total, number one. Number two, the goal to go to electric cars, which, as you know, I drive one.
Right.
Is noble. But where does the energy where does the energy come from that creates electricity for electrical grid to power our homes, to power our lives, to power the world, and to charge those vehicles? What is the source of that energy, Tony, for creating our electricity? Well, it's all fossil fuel.
Right. It's natural burning gas.
It's gas, it's coal, right?
Right.
Oil. We have some nuke,
Right.
but they don't like that either.
No.
That's dangerous too.
Right.
So you say, what's the truth? What's really going on? Because the data that's coming out of these reputable sources, like the Harvard School of Public Health, is biased.
Right.
We don't know how many people are really being harmed by cooking at home with their range. I mean, we know Jill Biden's doing it, right?
Right.
I mean, she doesn't seem to have a real concern about it, right? I mean, if you were to ask the president, and I would assume he would, this is his policy.
Yeah.
The president's policy that he's claiming is creating harm. Well, there is Mrs. Biden killing herself.
Cooking with gas.
Cooking with gas. Cooking with gas. And so, where does this go?
Yeah.
And
Russ.
it's always good to hear from AOC, isn't it?
Yes.
Always good to hear from her. She always throws in at the most opportune time.
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting story. In fact, you and I were talking about this before. Jeff Beck, legendary guitarist Jeff Beck, dies at the age of 78 from meningitis.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Jeff Beck, I mean, incredible guitarist.
Yes. One of my favorites.
Incredible. Well, we kind of grew up with him, right?
Right.
I mean, that's kind of our era.
Right.
78. Would you call that a premature death?
Yeah, I say he's pretty young.
Maybe it was natural gas that caused it. I mean, you can stretch this any way you want, right? It's like silly putty.
Right.
You can mold it in any way you want. But Jeff Beck died from meningitis. Are you familiar with meningitis?
Yeah, it's a bacterial.
Yeah.
Happens like with the young, during college. I mean, that's always the
Remember that? Yeah.
issue. Yes.
Yeah. Well, meningitis refers to inflammation in the layers of tissue surrounding the brain. It's a brain swelling in the spinal cord. Two types of causes, you named them, bacterial and viral infections. And it's a serious global health threat. I mean, legit. There is a difference in severity between the two main types. The viral meningitis is usually milder and kind of resolves itself on its own. That's the one that college kids get. But the bacterial meningitis really can cause some long-term complications or even death.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not treated right away.
Right away. No kid.
And so how do you know you got it? I mean, my daughter who...
Stiff neck, fever.
Yeah, my daughter went to the Naval Academy, and they have, many people may not know this, but they have one building. Bancroft
Everybody's
Hall,
in.
5,000. 5,000 midshipmen live in one building. And so when there was an outbreak of meningitis, it was all hands on deck.
Right.
I mean, it was a real threat. And there was, of course, the two different types, and everyone went into lockdown. You know how they test you for meningitis?
How?
How do you think?
Spinal cord tap.
Boy, man,
Not,
you are just...
But that's painful.
They do a spinal tap. They pull fluid out of your spine to see if you have it.
Needles like this big. They stick in your back. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how they test for it. It's a serious problem. No question about it. What do you think the odds of death from meningitis is?
Well, I know there's just been a certain outbreak in Europe.
There's always outbreaks.
Yeah, there's
Right.
outbreaks.
About 1.2 million cases of the bacterial
Right.
meningitis are estimated to occur every year. And that's worldwide.
Gotcha.
Okay. Estimates in 2021 estimates of 2021 research. So last year, about 1.2 million people got bacterial meningitis, according to the World Health Organization. So be skeptical.
Yeah.
The minute you hear the word WHO, and by the way, I'm not talking about the rock group WHO.
Yeah, I know.
When you hear about the World Health Organization, be skeptical. You know what a lot of people don't know is the World Health Organization is a part of
China.
Might as well be. No, the United Nations, which is part of China, right?
But I think they finance the.
Yeah. Remember that?
biggest- yeah.
The whole COVID thing? Where's Wuhan? It didn't come from Wuhan. What are you
Yeah,
talking about? That's
yeah.
crazy talk.
Yeah.
That's crazy talk. Well, of course it came from bats, even though we've never
Yeah.
found a bat that ever had it. Did you know that, not to deviate, but they actually tested like thousands of bats around Wuhan. Remember that was the Wuhan
Right.
market.
Right.
And none of the bats
Nothing.
tested positive.
Yeah. They didn't find anything in
So
the.
doesn't seem like anybody wants to know, including the WHO.
Yeah.
But according to the WHO, about 10% of people who get bacterial meningitis die from the infection. 10%. Even with treatment. Even with treatment. Without treatment, the death rate can go as high as 70%. And that's the CDC data. 70%.
Well, I know the news on Jeff Beck. It was just given out by their publicist, so it was real vague.
Right. So we don't know a lot.
Right.
We know he was 78. We know he died of meningitis. We don't know how long he had it. We
Right.
don't know if he received treatment. We don't know how long he was ill or sick.
Right.
We don't know a lot.
Right.
We just know he died from meningitis.
Or
Now,
if he had any preconditions,
preconditions.
like HIV or any other issues.
Should I use the C word?
Yeah.
COVID.
Okay. COVID.
I hope if he tested positive for COVID, I'm sure
I'm
that's
sure
going to
that-
be a COVID death.
Absolutely.
It's all about COVID. Got a funny story for you this time, interesting story. And this is one I think a lot of people find fascinating. What are the most dangerous car colors?
Red.
What are the most dangerous? If you're free to drive, well, wait a minute. Let me back this up. When I mean dangerous, I mean dangerous like car crashes,
Gotcha.
not like dangerous where people are going to, give you the bird as you're hauling down the highway. Dangerous meaning most likely to get involved or be involved in an accident. What do you think the color car would be?
Red.
White,
Red.
black, gray or silver, blue, or
Red.
you vote for red?
Red.
You think it's red?
Yes.
No, it's actually black.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because they don't see it.
Yep. According to the American
Gotcha.
Auto Insurance Company, the most dangerous car color is black. Studies reveal that black automobiles are 10 to 20% more dangerous. And you are 47% more likely to get into an accident if you own a black car compared to a light colored car. For the reason you said, black cars are oftentimes difficult to see at night. They blend in with their surroundings, especially for older folks. And you got a split second decision whether or not you brake or don't brake. And it can really create, some trouble.
Russ, don't you have a black
I do
car?
have a black car. I do have a black car. Yes, you're right. And I've never been in an
I
accident.
have a white truck.
Oh.
Everybody sees me coming down the road.
So how do you think the others stack up? What do you think number 2? What's the second most dangerous?
White.
Gray and silver.
Oh, yeah.
Then
Again, these
blue,
are-
then red.
Number 4. Yeah.
Number 4 is red. So red is actually really a great color. But there's one that's even better than red. What do you think the least likely color?
Yellow.
When have you seen a yellow car?
I don't know.
Have you ever seen a yellow car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yellow.
You got it. Like a cab
Yeah.
or a bus. School bus. Yeah, a 2017 study revealed that yellow vehicles were 9% less likely to get into accidents.
See how clairvoyant
9%.
I am? It's all that natural gas cooking,
All right, so should the insurance industry charge more to insure you if you have a black car?
No, God bless.
Or should I get a discount if I drive a yellow car? Would you? Would you drive a yellow car if you got a 10% discount on your premium?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Tony, you're saving money. Yellow. Can you imagine a whole country of yellow cars? Like all taxis. They're all cabs. But yeah, yellow is the way to go. And black is not, even though I drive a black. You drive a white truck, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. What do you think the odds of death from an automobile accident are? Remember, we kind of gave you a hint there
it's-
earlier.
It's probably pretty high.
Yeah, remember, it's right there.
Yeah.
Right
1 out of
before
102.
falls. 1 out of 102. die as a result of a car crash, an automobile accident. What's kind of interesting is look at the big picture. Poisonings, number one. Falls.
Number two.
Falls are number two. Tony, I would bet you, we're going to do a story, but we're going to do an episode sometime this season, just talking about this. I would be willing to bet you if you did a man on the street, interview, and we are going to do that. We're going to do some man on the street interviews. We're going to go out and just interview people. What do you think the chances of, death? What's the greater risk? Automobile accidents, getting shot. Because remember, there's the gun issue.
Right.
We'll just give some popular subjects. And what do you think the odds of death are? Just ask people. I'd be willing to bet you most people would never put falls even in the top 10.
Wow.
They don't even think about it.
Yeah, they don't.
But falls are a big problem. A really big problem, big health problem, big cost problem. But look, motor vehicles are right there.
Well, I know during that storm that just hit us just a couple of months ago, there's so many, all that ice. Guess how many falls?
Yes.
And then also autos. You got slippery streets,
Not if you're driving a yellow car. Then slide.
You're
Safety
safe.
yellow. Check this out. When you look at age, see the red line? That's motor vehicle accidents. So everybody knows that teenagers, right around that age of 20, see the spike.
Look at the falls. That's way up there.
As you're kind of saying, motor vehicle kind of goes up and then it goes down, pretty stable. But yeah, look at falls. Look what's going on. Age 90. Notice it drops off at 100. But that's because
they're all dying. We're dead.
Yeah.
Deed.
Yeah, they're dead. How many people live that long? And then how many people that age are driving?
Right.
That's got to contribute to the problem.
Sure.
But when you look at the data, again, this is a data-driven show. We're talking about safety matters. This is the truth. This is National Safety Council. This goes back a few years, 2007. But this graph kind of tells you the story about fire, choking, drowning. It's all kind of small potatoes, relatively speaking. In fact, falls are small potatoes. Look at the blue line. Until you hit 60, it doesn't even seem to come off the x-axis there.
Yeah.
And boom, the minute you hit 60, whoa.
And then you see choking is up there, after you lose your teeth.
Choking on natural gas, perhaps. So the data is what the data is. It's, there's a lot of scare tactics going on.
Right.
A lot of people being misled by the media,
right.
by government agencies,
right.
by our government.
Right.
I know it comes as a shock that our government does from time to time not tell the truth.
Right.
Not tell the truth. I have another interesting story, which I think you're going to find humorous. And that is a recent story where a Georgia man, would-be robber, slips and falls while pulling a gun.
I saw this.
Do you see this story?
Yes.
Hits his head. Police said it was like a scene from Home Alone.
Oh,
there he is.
My God.
Falls aren't funny, Tony.
Oh, my God.
Remember falls aren't funny?
Yes.
Remember the video we made?
Yes, we did.
A2 with one subject. 653 en route. Slip and fall accident, middle-aged male.
Slip and fall injuries? See it all the time. These patients are all your parents, your children, your neighbors, your family. I don't know why these injuries occur, but the problem's not getting any better. These are life-altering injuries for many patients, from which some they don't survive.
EMS 610, slip and fall accident leaving water park. We have a female, unconscious, 52 years old, possible skull fracture.
Northeast 21, we need a
Copy.
21.
Falls aren't funny.
Okay, I'm getting it right now. 11.
All right, and next week I'll be interviewing Bill Davidson, the president and CEO of a company called Slipknot. They're a major manufacturer of slip-resistant or high-traction plates that are commonly used throughout a wide range of industries. So with that, we'll bring today's session to a close. Thanks again for watching Safety Matters. We'll see you next week.